Welcome to the world of CPC. Consumer, they say, is king. I am Florence Abebe. The free market economy that liberalization engenders can help a country achieve efficiency, which results from competing firms, more choices, and lower prices for consumers, better products and services, as well as increasing opportunities for existing new businesses. However, as has been consistently observed, market failures persist in different ways, with varying degrees of negative impacts on consumers. Hence, while the free market is currently operational in Nigeria, all forms of consumer abuse still pervade virtually every sector of the economy, denying consumers of their rights. Following on international trend, Nigerian government established the Consumer Protection Council (CPC) in 1992 as the apex regulatory agency of the federal government of Nigeria, responsible for the promotion and protection of all the interests of consumers across all products and services. To function effectively across the nation, CPC has 8 offices made up of the headquarters in Abuja, 6 zonal offices in each of the geopolitical zones of Nigeria, and an office in Lagos, the commercial nerve center of Nigeria. The agency is presently headed by Mrs. Dupe Atoki as its Director General, a human rights lawyer who has previously served the continent of Africa and Nigeria with distinguished pedigree. Before you hear more about the activities of CPC, let us take a look at the challenges.
The fundamental problem that we have is the impunity of manufacturers and providers of services. That, of course, is from their profit orientation. Unfortunately, this is compounded by what we call consumer apathy, the low literacy level amongst consumers, especially in the rural communities and in the rural areas. Now, this impunity of the huge business operators, combined with this low literacy level of consumers, leads to a lot of loss in consumer protection. Happily, the Consumer Protection Council is there to do something about this. If you do have a problem, please come to the council and complain.
Since assumption of office in the last 2 years, the present DG, Mrs. Dupe Atoki, has brought genuine and visible transformation to CPC.
We need to give a lot of credit to the DG for a unique vision for the council and exemplary leadership qualities. Through our leadership, a lot and guidance, a lot have been recorded. And I want to state that it is during our tenure that we have a 4-year strategic plan to redefine the council approach to addressing consumer issues through a coordinated and well-articulated framework. We started a campaign titled Check PB Date. This is a campaign on the obligation of consumers to check the best before expiry dates of products. We also launched a compendium of rights of telecom subscribers to stem the rampant abuse of consumers in the telecom sector in Nigeria. I also want to say, and with a lot of credit to the Director General, that our bidder presence has significantly improved in the last 2 years, with frequent reportage of the council's activities in the broadcast media, as well as various newspapers and social media, including Facebook and Twitter handle. The most profound impact is in the areas of surveillance, enforcement, and reform. Our Southeast Zone Office in Oka conducted an historic enforcement exercise. It raided the market, the urban market, to remove counterfeits and fake products from the marketplace. Perpetrators of the acts have been successfully prosecuted. Multinationals operating in Nigeria on the abuse of consumers has been decisively dealt with. The council recently took on the world's largest soft drink brand for selling defective drinks, contrary to international best practice. CPC filed criminal charges against the companies and their chief executive officers with a looming jail term if convicted. Expectedly, war was declared on the council, and this action generated both local and international media stir. This has been well acclaimed and commended as not only the first in Nigeria, but evidence of a proactive government agency under the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan. A leading Nigerian newspaper this day, in its editorial of Thursday, November 6, 2014, did not only commend Mrs. Atoki for their daring action, it also concluded that through the case by the council, and I want to quote, "It will now be clear to companies operating in Nigeria that our country is not a jungle without rules, and that consumers do not have rights. We therefore commend Atoki and our team at the CPC and urge them not to relent in their efforts to restore a measure of dignity to the Nigerian consumers." Unquote.
Indeed, this firm stance of Mrs. Atoki's council is currently modifying the behavior and culture of big players in Nigeria's food and beverage sector, with several reforms being undertaken for consumer satisfaction. Speaking on the industry reform and enforcement and her general vision for CPC, this is what the Director General has to say.
Complaints coming out of the food and beverage sector is adequately redressed through a sectoral intervention. It's rather unfortunate that it went the way it did, but the CPC needed to take a stand against whether a multinational or a local producer. As long as you put out products to the public, you must ensure that they are not substandards and consumers get value for money. So for us at the CPC, it was a worthwhile challenge to accommodate, to show to all who are watching that the CPC will withstand any pressure to ensure that consumer is king at all times. My vision for CPC is benchmarked on the mandate, which is to ensure that consumers get value for money. Simple. And we would ensure that consumers are well educated on their rights. That is my hope at the end of my tenure here, and that businesses conduct themselves in a manner that will not shortchange consumers. And if they do, that they are passionate, they are well resourced, they are proactive enough to complain and to push for a redress. And when it gets to us that the CPC is able to immediately anchor on that and provide redress for consumers.
How has consumers benefited from the transformation at CPC? There has been a series of positive feedbacks and issues of conflict resolutions, where the Council has been able to secure redress for aggrieved consumers in different sectors of the Nigerian economy. Let's listen to a few of these.
Well, I bought a car from CFA board representative some time ago. We found out that the car actually had a manufacturing defect. My mother-in-law called me one day and said, "Why don't you go to CPC?" And so I came. It was resolved that another car be given to me. But the following week I got a call again from CPC telling me that I should come and pick my car.
I acquired 2 ACs. One, which is a media product, and the second one, LG product. To my surprise, after installation of the media AC, the AC refused to pick up. I later learned that Somotes Nigeria Limited was not ready to change the product. I need to go to CPC for a complaint. I thought CPC will still be like other agencies in Nigeria that may be in name but will not be doing anything. About 3 days or a week later, I was called upon from CPC that I should come. My complaint has been attended to. I told CPC I need another AC, and CPC granted me replacement, and the AC has been replaced and is working till now.
The Consumer Protection Council, Nigeria, despite some of its constraints, has relevance to the economic welfare of millions of consumers in Nigeria. And this is reflective in the increasing number of consumers experiencing redress and those craving for the council to do more. Most importantly, the council is contributing its quota to the creation of a level playing field of best practices for enhanced consumer satisfaction and increased patronage.